If you were given a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the worst and 1 being the least, and asked to gauge or scale the level of fear that you have lived in for the past 2 to 2.5 years, and how it affected the outcomes of the decisions that you made, where would you rate yourself? Where would you rate your life? Where would you rate everything? Um, Thank you for clicking on this video, and welcome to my fairly young and new spiritual channel. I did this channel for many reasons, but most of all, I did this channel to help. I truly, that's a big thing for me. I have a need, I have a desire, and a wish to help people right now. Well, always, actually. But specifically right now, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like humanity is a little bit confused, lost. However, not that I want to paint a grim picture or a grim look on where we're at right now, because I do believe that what we're passing through is critical. It's a critical stage of the development of this planet, of this earth, and of us as a species. But there is no point in people like me remaining silent. There's just no point. We have a lot to offer, regardless how kooky some people might view it or see us. But yeah, we do definitely, we're required. We've been put here on this planet for a reason. I believe I truly believe in this. I believe I exist for quite a good reason. And I'm not full of myself, and I'm not egotistical, and none of that. And I'm not arrogant or narcissistic. Like I said, I have a deep seated desire to help humans. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my past. I was actually born in England. And then at the age of 9, my father is a surgeon. He's a doctor. He moved me, along with the rest of my family, to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, at the time, was a hellhole. And the main ideology in that part of the world was not just Islam, but it was actually radical. It was radical. I was raised under radical Islam. I lived amongst terrorists. That's where I grew up. So I was bombarded. I lived there for 26 years. I escaped Saudi Arabia when I was 26. I came to Canada as a physician. But I just wanted to share a few things with you. I am not sharing any of this for sympathy. I am not sharing any of this to toot my own horn. I am not sharing any of this to appear superior to anyone. As I was growing up in Saudi Arabia, I can't even tell you what age. The youngest age when 9, 10. Actually, even before then, because the news, like my family would, like I would hear them talk, and I would hear the news, and I would hear things. But through the main, I guess, airwaves, TV, radio, schooling, the systems that I grew up utilizing and being exposed to in that part of the world were very fear, they like to pump out fear. I come from a dictatorship. Dictatorships operate by making their citizens afraid of everything, everyone, including the government. That's how dictatorships thrive. So I would hear on TV, especially through religion, through the religion itself, through prayer, through the religious men speaking after prayer, through prayer itself, and the Quran, and different things, but there was always this message of hate. there was always this message of othering people. Now, in Islam, it's usually the Jews or the infidels and the kuffars and stuff like that. So I grew up being told repeatedly ad nauseum, I can't even tell you. I can't tell you how much this was repeated to me. To hate the Jews and never befriend them, and to strive for their harm and for their death, and that the state of Israel should be annihilated and it has no right to exist, and that anyone who is not Muslim is a kafir, an infidel, and they are destined to hell, and we are superior because we are Muslims, that we are superior to everyone who is not Muslim. This was literally verbatim taught to me throughout school, even in university, even when I went to med school. I would have to sit through religious classes to earn credits. But that's besides the point. The point is the messaging of fear was something I grew up with. I don't want to tell you that I became accustomed to it. There has been something that has been made quite evident to me that I am different from many people, is that I reject the energy of hate. I reject the energy of fear. When you look behind anger, when you look behind hate, those energies, you will definitely come face to face with the energy of fear staring you in your face. So behind anger, behind hate, is the energy of fear. And I, like I said, have become quite accustomed because of the upbringing that I lived, to that, to identifying, diagnosing, and pinpointing the energy of fear in any message coming from anywhere. I should probably pause here for a second and say that because I rejected the messages of fear, I was able to always identify it and know where it's coming from and reject it, reject it, reject it. It didn't matter how it was coming to me and where it was coming at me from. Any message of fear was rejected by me. The way I express this in my life, because of the part of the world that I grew up in, was as such. Women in Saudi Arabia were forced, up until quite recently, to literally dress in a garbage bag. Black, black. Nothing, we were not allowed to show anything. Our hands were not allowed to show. Our feet are not allowed to show. Our eyes are not allowed to show. Maybe one eye. You can show one eye. And the main reason for this is not to seduce men, because the main religion and that part of the world is very, very patriarchal. And they like to blame women for everything. So they cover the women in like a garbage bag so the man can remain focused on his religion and not, be distracted by women. And so whenever a woman would get harmed by a man, it was her fault, especially if she was uncovered. It's her fault. So I lived under this, and it's oppressive. I'm not going to say it was lovely or anything, because the society is literally against you. And I realized that I was the dissident, I guess. I was the person, there was not many like me. I maybe had one friend who eventually left me when things got, stopped being my friend, when things got quite serious, when we had to back up our stance against specific things, like the ideology itself. So, I guess without diverting too much, is that this presented itself in my life by me being the black sheep, and eventually I got into a lot of trouble in that part of the world because I simply would not follow the rules, because I rejected the messages of fear. And the messages of fear simply want to control you. When they inject you with this low vibrational energy, that is fear, whoever they are, no conspiracy theories being pumped here. I'm simply saying that we as a species appear to have become conditioned to a specific way of life, to accepting a specific type of message from our government, from our media, from our health. And I'm just raising awareness to what I have come uh, to understand because of who I am. So as I got into serious trouble, I ended up in jail. I ended up with, I was sentenced to flogging at the age of, I was, I think, 23 because I was with a boy. Um, so all these things began to happen to me. And because it was all too much, it created fear in my own family. And what ended up happening is my own family ended up disowning me. And that is, again, because of fear. Fear keeps you in a very low vibration. Fear keeps you from expanding yourself, expanding your horizons, and reaching out to the potential that could possibly be yours. Fear keeps you stunted. So part of the messaging in my part of the world was also that women should get married very, very young, and it doesn't matter to whom. It should probably be to someone that society chooses, especially her family. And she should not work, and she should remain home. And if her husband chooses to marry another woman or two or three, she should be happy. She should never ever say no to sex with her husband. She should always oblige him sexually. And she should always give babies, make babies for the husband. Contraception is tabooed, as is abortion in my part of the world, because the woman has to serve the husband. And that is the accepted, that's the norm. So for me, that was a very, no, that's not who I am. And again, whenever you have to do this because this is expected of you, or you're going to be raped, or you're not going to get married, society's going to hate you, or you're going to be, you're going to grow old and alone, or you're going to go to hell and God won't love you, and we know this. So this is the messaging of fear that keeps women in my part of the world very controlled. Now, I broke through that and I escaped Saudi Arabia, like I said, when I was 26, and I came to Canada. As you can see, I'm not covered in a garbage bag. I'm not wife number 4 for anyone, and I don't have an army of children. Not that any of that is bad. I just broke through that. So I came to Canada, and all was great. Well, not all. But definitely, I did begin to notice the same messages of fear. They really, really intensified when you know what hit with the mask mandates and the restrictions in general. That was the epitome of fear. And then I began to see the fear literally around me in humans, and the patterns really just spilling. To the point that I've stopped, I don't want to say I've stopped going out, but it's really difficult to go out because of the amount of patterning that people are engaging in that many of us can see through. So I guess this topic of this video is to share with you my own perspective of how I view the message of fear coming from anywhere. I don't care if it's your family physician. I don't care what degree the person pumping fear inside of you has. It doesn't matter. The message remains the same. It is a message of fear, and it is intended to control you and to keep you stuck in a pattern, to keep you stuck in a specific way for whatever reason. I don't know what the reasoning is. Again, I am not trying to give conspiracies here. I am simply telling you what I observe Do you observe the same? Or have you given into the messaging of fear? How has your life been since the you know what hit? How have you been doing? Do you believe everything that you see and hear and read about the others, the othering of people who don't think, act the same way that we are being ordered to think and act? Look at the way society has treated a specific group of people because they were seen as non-compliant or spreading disease. Is that ethical? Is that civil? Does that reflect the Civil West? When in the Civil West's history has anything like this ever happened? I'm simply asking these questions for those who have given into the narrative of fear, regardless what the narrative of fear is, be it regarding sickness. And I have to say that health, making people afraid for their health, is powerful. It is such a powerful tool, and it gives whoever wants to control you really, really easy access into all of you. So I apologize, this video is going a little bit long. I did not write my notes on purpose because I wanted to see the response. I am structuring some videos, and then some videos are not being structured. I want to see what reaches people more, what people respond to more. This is so far an experiment. I hope it works. But that's it for now. There's going to be more videos regarding fear and the messages of fear that are coming out right now from every which where, that result in control, that result in they make the siblings of fear bud, which is anger, hate, and jealousy. Well, and then you have the feelings of despair, but that's something else. I would actually rather see people angry than desperate right now. So let me know, please, in the comments if you have noticed the messaging of fear. Have you given into it? Do you believe it? Or do you maybe feel like something has gone wrong? That maybe the messaging is a little bit off. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope that you like, share, and consider subscribing.